Chris Martin. I'm president and CEO of United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County. The Nonprofit Council provides an opportunity for organizations, leaders from organizations to come together and really receive the training, create the network that they need to be successful in their roles. I think one of the things that surprised me from when I got here, from then on, is the number of opportunities that Nonprofit Council provides for people to get together and to learn with one another. And that's not always common in other communities. If you were thinking about joining, number one, I'd say go to one or two of the meetings and experience what it's about. And number two, know that you're going to have an opportunity to better yourself, better your organization by participating in the activities whether it be training, whether it be networking, all of that is an opportunity for you to better yourself and your organization.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TNC Talks Nonprofit. I'm Scott.
I'm Mercedes. And today on our episode, we have Chris Martin, who's the president and CEO of the United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, this podcast is really just about trying to figure out how you got into this role. I know you've been I don't know a lot about your past. I know you're not from San Antonio originally, but I'd like to know tell us first before we dive into your story of how you became the president and CEO of the United Way. Tell us about the mission of United Way. I mean, most people probably know, but just for the sake.
Our mission is really about bringing people and organizations together to address the most critical issues that our communities face. And that's really the way we do our work on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. That's the focus of our work. We do it in 4 different impact areas, impact councils. Mm-hmm. Our Ready Children Impact Council has a real focus on early childhood development as well as child abuse prevention. Mm-hmm. And then we have our Successful Students Impact Council, which is a focus on providing support systems to students as they, really looking at kind of that, second grade all the way and involving opportunity youth up to the age of 24.
Oh, okay.
So helping provide support so that they can be successful. At the end of the day, I really look at it as let's make sure that they graduate from high school and they're ready for college, career, and life.
Right.
And making sure that they have that foundation of skills. And then our Strong Individuals and Families Impact Council, mm-hmm. That is a real focus on workforce development, family violence prevention, and helping people to develop careers, not just have jobs, but mm-hmm. develop careers so that they can be long-term successful. And our last Impact Council is our Safety Net Impact Council. The Safety Net Impact Council is really the foundation of the work we do. Mm-hmm. It's really about dealing with people that are living in crisis and making sure that they are housing stable, making sure that food insecurity is not an issue for them. At the end of the day, those first 3 areas that I talked about are long-term. Mm-hmm. It's long-term work to drive long-term success. But if somebody is living in crisis, they can't think beyond that moment in time, right? And so providing that support so that you can move.
And that's where you have the crisis line.
Correct. 211 sits, really 211 or the 211 line really impacts all of those areas. And, we take 160,000 plus calls a year.
Oh my gosh.
Here in San Antonio.
Wow.
So you're kind of the connector of services in the community that people can be.
Yep. 24/7, 365 days.
Now you talk about these councils. There are a lot of volunteers that help you all out in those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yes. We have a number of volunteers and, we had in our last, just to give you one sense, in our last request for proposal process, we had over 100 volunteers that were involved in that process. And that was just 3 of the 4 impact councils. We're actually getting ready to launch our Safety Net Impact Council request for proposal process next spring.
So each of those is a separate grant process.
Separate process. But over 100 volunteers that were involved in just getting that organized and together.
So does every United Way across the country have these same impact areas, or is yours specific to?
Each one is unique. Each mm-hmm. United Way is unique. We operate separately. Mm-hmm. We carry the same name, mm-hmm. But we operate separately. And, the work that happens in every community isn't the same.
Right.
Ours was, the work that we do in San Antonio and Bexar County is really steeped in the data from this community. The data is what informed what we needed to do and where we needed to have an impact to help strengthen this community.
And like, how often do you evaluate what if you're doing on track, or how often do you change that kind of model?
We just went the initial 3 impact councils that I mentioned went through our second RFP process since we moved to this model. They're 5-year. It's a 5-year process.
Okay.
A 5-year
gives you time to kind of figure out what's working, what's not.
So you're learning along the way, and then as you begin that next RFP process, we go through a strategy mapping process. Okay, what strategies worked, what strategies didn't, what do we need to adjust, what do we need to strengthen, where do we need to invest more? That happens every 5 years, and we partner with the organizations in this community that do great work, that address issues that are critical to every one of us and to the long-term success of San Antonio.
How many partners do you have?
You stole my question.
Because we think alike.
I know.
We
have one brain.
We have that actually receive investment. We have almost 70.
Okay.
So I believe it's 68 right now. That may change with the safety net impact.
That number's been pretty steady, though.
Yeah, it's been north of 60. We in the first 2 processes that we went through, we had some that fell off. They didn't receive an investment. We had others that were added, because they supplemented the work that we do and addressed the goals that we had.
Yeah, because I know in the past, speaking of adding, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for new agencies to apply. So is that something?
It's different now.
I will tell you that it's open to all. Anybody when we do the RFP process, it is open to all. Okay. Anybody can apply if they are willing to do the work and the strategies and address the goals that we've got, the indicators that we're measuring in the community. And I can tell you, in the last process, we had north of 200 proposals that were submitted. It gives you some sense of the amount of work that took place by the volunteers to really sort through. Well over 100 organizations that applied.
What's the timeline for that?
So we launched the request for proposal was launched in May. Organizations had throughout the summer to submit. They had till mid-August to submit their proposal. And then we went through the process, and decisions were actually made and shared in the month of December. So it's about an 8-month. 8-month process. It's lengthy. It takes some time. There's a lot of work. But we, and I will say this, one of the things that we did, we went through that first process. We learned a lot. We listened to the partners that we were working with.
Right.
And so that forced us to make some adjustments in this most recent process.
Okay.
And it was really based on their feedback. They were the ones that said, we need a little bit longer to put the proposal together. So we gave them the entire summer to do that. They were the ones that said we need a little bit kind of longer before the actual investments begin to take place, right?
To prepare for it.
Yeah, right. So to prepare for an increase, prepare for what might not be as much money as they received in the past. And so we did that as well. I mean, we went from sharing with them in April and May what the amounts were and funding taking effect on July 1 to now sharing with them in December and funding taking effect that following July 1. So we're really adapted.
Yeah.
Try to be sensitive to the partnership because we value them. We appreciate them. We couldn't do this work without them.
Right.
And we're all in this together. Yeah. So if we can find ways to strengthen and improve our process to put them on better footing to be successful,
everyone wins.
We all win.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. So you've been in San Antonio now for how many years?
A little over 7 years.
7 years.
Moved here in 2018.
So
seems just like yesterday when
it does.
We had you to our office.
It does.
And that was 7 years.
Which office was that? Oh, it was a dark one.
Yeah, it was
the very non-profit-y, dark paneling.
I do.
The elevator barely worked.
Yeah, it was I was like, we need to have him come to our office. I mean, the non-public council.
We're very
really
highfalutin, but it's not.
It was.
But so take us back to have you always, I mean, you've worked for the United Way for a long time. How many years now?
It's been 36 plus years.
Wow. Well, what did you do before that? Yeah, congratulations. That's a long time to be doing.
Thank you.
You must love the work if you're...
I actually started right out of school.
Really?
Yeah. I was, when I was about to graduate, a career counselor shared with me some information on a national management training program that United Way had. I originally went to school pre-med, and I made a decision that I didn't, did all the work, my MCATs, all that, and then just made the decision that I didn't want to do it. And so now, I'm sorry.
Was that early on that
my junior year?
Okay.
Yeah, my junior year, I just decided I wasn't going to continue. Yeah. And so they suggested this program and said, it's highly competitive. And I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. It was a 1-year program. There were about 1,800 applicants. There were 7 of us that were selected.
Oh, wow.
So very, very fortunate,
Nationally?
very lucky. Yeah, nationally. Okay. And the 1-year program I spent 6 months in Peoria, Illinois, and did development work there.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next 6 months I spent in Philadelphia and did kind of the community investment, community impact work there. And so it gave you an opportunity to experience big city, small city, both, aspects of the organization from an outside standpoint, and, allowed you to really think as you made your next decision, do I want to go big city? Do I want to go development? Which is what I chose. Bigger city, I should say. And so from there, I spent several years in West Palm Beach, Florida, and really got to cut my teeth on development. And,
how'd that go?
It was great. It was great. I was development my entire career.
Really?
Yeah. And so then I went to Cincinnati, spent 20 plus years there, and was the senior vice president or chief development officer, senior vice president of development. And then came here as the president and CEO, went through an interview process to come here, and have enjoyed every minute of it since.
How's it been different between, being development, strictly focusing on raising money probably, and then running an organization?
Oh, it's light years different.
Yeah.
Okay? What I will say is this. One of the things that I was really, that I was very intentional about throughout my entire career was I didn't just focus on, I'm a development person, that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. I knew that if I wanted to become a CEO, and I knew that I needed to have experiences in all parts of the organization.
Operational.
So I was very intentional about making sure that, not only did I do my job as a development professional, I also, when we went through community impact investment processes in Cincinnati, I sat in on that just so that I could learn about it, so that I had the foundation that I could bring with me in a bigger role.
Well, that's great advice. I mean, for someone who's maybe spent most of their career in development, may want to run an organization to kind of get more involved on the program side, the operational side, and those sorts of things.
Does the United Way Worldwide, the corporate, think of it as a corporate office, do they provide continuing, support as far as training, or I'm surely you're connected to be able to share best practices, and
they were better at it than they are today.
Okay.
There was a point in time when they were better at it than they are today. And I think part of that was resource limitations, right? We all have to address it.
Yeah.
But yes, they create connectivity. There's a lot of best practice sharing, and we've created informal networks on our own. I'm a part of a CEO, what we call a learning circle, and there are 7 of us. And they're from other cities, and we were self-created. It actually happened during COVID, and I was having a conversation with one of my peers in another city, and she said, I wonder what it would be like if we just created our own group.
Kind of like our group here, but
so we've done that,
right?
And we spend time together. We spend time virtually together. We've taken an opportunity to go visit and learn from other cities. So we'll each host, not on an annual basis. I mean, it's usually 1 city a year, maybe 2. But that's just one of the ways that I've tried to make sure that I'm continuously learning, and I have a support system, right? Because we're all going through a lot of the same things, just in a different community,
right? And
so we try to learn from one another and support one another in that way.
How about the local? Y'all are just Bexar County, correct?
Yeah, Bexar and Kendall. And actually Kendall, and we now have Kerr County as well.
Okay, so are there not United Way?
There are not United Ways there.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a United Way in Kerr County until last June, or actually a year plus, and they became a part of our United Way back then.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So there's not a loss of support.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's part of what we have to do is we've got to learn a little bit about the community and find ways to, tap into that community so that they can, they have the opportunity to support the people that they live.
Right. I mean, every community is so different. Just even, it's interesting about San Antonio and then, even people in Bernie and New Braunfels that have such different identities. It's pretty interesting.
Very much so. And we run I just think of Kendall County when the Kendall County United Way closed its doors long before my time here. When they became part of us, we run a separate process for them, a grant process for them with the designations that are designated back to that community. And we have a group of volunteers that are from Kendall County. They help us determine, who it is that we're going to invest in, and a little bit different process.
Yeah, I mean, that is United Way. I mean, you're giving money to stay in the community that you live.
Right. Yep.
And so that makes sense.
Exactly.
That y'all adapt. So, I mean, anything else about your background that
childhood?
Well,
you're a troublemaker when you were.
No, I tried not to be. I'll say that. I was born in New York, grew up in Chicago, went to school on the North Shore of Chicago.
That checks out.
Played football there, that kind of stuff. I mean, so really spent a lot of time in athletics. And I think that's one of the ways that one of the things that helped me develop my leadership skills and my leadership skills and my ability to communicate with people.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because it is kind of highly unusual. Most of our guests that we've had have had lots of different career changes. So and I think a couple of our other guests today are also in the same boat. So it's just interesting to see. Because I mean, what we say is, was my thought, is that most people don't wake up and go, "Oh, I want to work in a nonprofit when I grow up."
Right.
So,
well, I will say this.
You didn't.
Right, I did not.
Right, true.
Correct.
That's true.
And I will say this. I think one of the things, as I think about my career, my willingness to step outside of the box, outside of my box, was important in my development.
Yeah.
I was, it's become less and less likely that people are willing to move. I mean, I've lived in 5 different cities with United Way.
Right.
And that was a conscious decision.
Yeah.
And even after my children were born, I mean, I made the decision to stay in a place as they were growing, and going through school. But I also knew that if I wanted to take that next step, I might have to move again.
Right.
So I was willing to move. I was willing to, to do all those other things that I mentioned before, and do that not in place of my regular job.
Right.
It was do that, but
enhancing.
That's right. And do this and add to your plate.
Yeah.
Knowing that it was strengthening you as a candidate for the next step.
That's great advice.
Yeah. So how was the transition to this market? Because I know the leadership here had been in place for quite some time.
We it was great.
Yeah.
It was easy for me from a professional standpoint, no doubt.
Yeah.
And part of that's because I had been through, in Cincinnati, we went through that kind of RFP, that impact transition that they were going through when I got here. We had already been through that a couple times.
Okay.
So
you kind of brought that here.
Right. I think that's one of the assets that I brought to the table.
No doubt.
For sure.
Having been through that process.
Right.
And so that part of it was easy. I will tell you from a culture and people perspective, that was easy. I mean, I remember my very first interview here, when I was on my way back to the airport, having the conversation with my wife, and she was asking me how it went. And the conversation I had with her was, it felt like I was literally sitting in the room with a bunch of board members from Cincinnati. It was that.
Really?
Yeah. That was the feeling I got. I felt like I was just back there.
Yeah.
With with our board members there, having a conversation. So for me, it really.
Well, it was just meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky that that they reached out, and
lucky
I'm very fortunate to be
with
here.
The skill set too.
Yeah, thanks.
With the to back that up.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, we're fortunate to have you in the market. I mean, it's hard to believe it's been 7 years.
Yes, it is.
You came to our office. It didn't seem like you were, from like Ohio or New York. I mean, it kind of felt like you were already part of San Antonio and Texas.
It's important. You got to be a part of the fabric of the community. If you want to serve the community and you want to understand the community, you've got to be a part of the fabric.
That's true.
I really believe that, and I've done my best to do that.
We appreciate you sharing your story.
Thanks so much.
No, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being a part of the council as well as a member. We appreciate that and your support of us. So thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. We will see you all next time on TNC Talks Nonprofit. Bye-bye.